Hi everybody, how you doing? It's me, Jesse. Welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to give you a little update on my Pakistan mulberry cuttings that I had a group A and I had a group B. So first, these are my group A. I did them using my peekaboo method for this set and this set. But this set, I planted them in a conventional pot. There was a little bit of a problem that I had with this set. They took off and started growing really well. These were my group A's. They started growing really well, really quickly. They put on a flush of new growth with leaves, as you see, but over time some of them started to yellow and dry like this, and then once they turned yellowed and dried, they started to fall off. Now there's still energy in all of these stems. None of these stems have died. But right here we have a little bit of mildew that was forming, which I believe is due to excess moisture inside of my greenhouse, my miniature greenhouse. So for this set, I'm going to go ahead and take my greenhouse off and see if this yellowing, if giving it more open circulation will solve that problem. This is from my group B. Group B were my smaller cuttings. These were the ones that I call less than optimal size, which is they are less than the size of a diameter of a pencil. But still, we've got new growth happening. Flushes of new growth happening. And if we look inside, it's difficult to see, but we have roots accumulating in this area. It's a little difficult to see, but there are roots right here. There's a root running right there. We've got roots that are starting to accumulate. So what I'm going to do to give this a little bit more air is using a toothpick. I'm just poking holes in this greenhouse to allow for a little bit more air circulation. This is not perfect, but this will allow for a little more air circulation until I eventually take the lid off. So that was my group A and my group B. Something else that happened along the way was I took some of my group A cuttings that I was doing in water, and I went on ahead and rooted them using the same method. So both of these are from what I was calling group A. And recall, group A are the cuttings that were at least the size of a pencil in diameter. Okay, so these are between a pencil and the size of your ring finger. pencil size, ring finger size. And what we see here is the larger one has put on growth. You see that? Nice growth, green, healthy looking growth. Okay? These were moved 2 weeks ago. Just over 2 weeks ago. They were taken from the water with aspirin and they were potted in this greenhouse method, this miniature greenhouse. And so these Pakistan mulberry cuttings from the red Pakistan mulberry are successful. Okay? There are a couple of them, like I showed you from the pot, that might be having some kind of issues with too much humidity. But that's going to be resolved by removing the plastic. And because these all look so healthy, I'm going to go ahead and poke holes to add a little bit of aeration using this same toothpick. So all of these greenhouses, and you can see that condensation right there. But we want all of these greenhouses to have a little bit more aeration. And yes, this condensation is on the inside of the bag. That's not the outside, that's inside. And we talked about the water cycle. You have liquid water that evaporates and vaporizes due to what's called the vapor pressure of water. And it causes, even though it's not boiling or near boiling, it causes the liquid water to vaporize and turn into steam or fog inside of the little greenhouses. And as I explained before, that condensation will run down the inside of the bag and it back into the soil, and it'll be taken again. And some of this is actually coming out from the leaves. Some of this moisture you see is the leaves breathing. They're expiring water vapor. Also in these cups, remember we were watering from the bottom. Okay, but what I'm doing right now, just to increase circulation, is I went on ahead and poked some holes for ventilation into these greenhouses. But my update today on these Pakistani mulberries is that we have success with both groups A and B. Now this, let's pull these back. These two sets were taken as cuttings and they were put into these two pots on January the 8th. Today's February 13th. So that was a week and just shy of, 1 month and just shy of 1 week ago. Okay? So a month and a week, give or take. All right. This set in the water for a week. So I took these out of the water and I planted them on January the 16th. And we've got this wonderful looking growth that's happening. I mean, that's very vibrant and healthy looking growth that we see on these cuttings. So I am certain, without doubt, that we have success. However, I am not going to transplant these into a permanent potting situation until another 4 weeks from now, give or take. We'll check on them again periodically, but I'm thinking after the last threat of frost here in zone 9A, which is between March 1st and March 15th, we'll look at the forecast. But I will up-pot these around that time and get ready to bring them outside. But aren't they so perfect looking? We've got success. We have got success with our Pakistan mulberry cuttings. Again, these are the red Pakistan mulberry cuttings. And I will be doing another video where I take cuttings from my white Pakistani mulberry. I'm going to prune it, and in the process of pruning, I'm going to take cuttings from it. We are in February, tomorrow's Valentine's Day, and we have another freeze, overnight freeze here. And so the Pakistan mulberry and my everbearing mulberry both carried their leaves until February. We had a couple of freezes in January, and they carried their leaves through that. Last week we had a 27-degree temperature with wind chills of 23, and my mulberries are on the north side of the property, so they were exposed to that north wind, so they probably were experiencing 23-degree temperatures. And it was after that that the leaves crisped on them. They never really changed colors. They were still green until we had that very windy freeze about a week ago. So we have another freeze overnight, and I will be pruning them while they are more or less dormant before they hurry up and bloom and blossom and everything else on me. So I'm going to prune my everbearing mulberry, and I'm going to prune my white Pakistan mulberry, and I will be doing cuttings on those as well. Please leave a comment if you're interested in any of my cuttings. I have red Pakistan mulberries, I will have white Pakistan mulberries, I will have everbearing mulberry cuttings, and I'm sure I will have a few others. Please like, subscribe, share with your friend, leave a comment. I'd love to know what you're growing in your garden. And if you have any ideas for things that I can do in my garden, I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, happy, healthy gardening. Bye-bye.